This is Top 30. Coming up, the blood pressure medication recall is expanding. We break down the Golden Globe nominations, and a 7-year-old YouTuber made $22 million this year. Hi there, welcome to the show. I'm Kristin Smith, and here are 30 things you need to know right now. Americans racked up an average of more than $1,000 in debt last holiday season. It can be really easy to accumulate, but really hard to pay down. So here are a few tips to avoid the dreaded holiday debt. First of all, create a budget. Determine what you can afford with the cash you've got, and write down a list for what you can spend on each person. Now get yourself a budget buddy, because it's much easier to stick to a plan when you have someone holding you accountable. A good tip is to do your research. It might take a little extra time, but comparison shopping can save you some big bucks. Some apps even let you set alerts for when an item hits your target price. And limiting your shopping time can help you keep on track as well. The longer you wander the mall, the more likely you are to find extra and perhaps unnecessary purchases. And finally, if you do have to use a credit card for your holiday purchases, choose wisely. Aim for low APRs, 0% if it's an option, and don't put more on it than you're able to pay off the next month. So there you have a few pointers. Good luck. Now to a concerning update for those on blood pressure medication. The FDA has just expanded a nationwide recall after trace amounts of a cancer-causing chemical were found. All medications, including valsartan, are part of the recall and were sold between March 2017 and November 2018. And the 2019 Golden Globe nominations are out, with Vice leading the way with 6 nominations. Christian Bale got a Best Actor nod for his impressive transformation into former Vice President Dick Cheney. Amy Adams plays Cheney's wife and also earned herself a Best Supporting Actress nomination.
So we're gonna do this thing, or what? I mean, is this happening?
I believe we can make this work.
And not far behind Vice is fan favorite A Star is Born, the road trip comedy Green Book, and the 18th century Queen Anne film, The Favorite, who all earned 5 nominations. Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper both got Best Actress and Best Actor nominations. Mary Poppins Returns did better than expected with 4 nominations, including a Best Actress nod for Emily Blunt as, of course, Mary Poppins.
How'd you do that?
Do what?
And finally, watch as Adam Frisbee tries to have some fun by playfully throwing his young son in the snow. The kid is immediately out of sight, engulfed in the white stuff. Of course, he was quickly scooped out, but Adam joked that his son got a lake effect baptism. Well, that's one way to do it. Now let's go to the New York Stock Exchange for our Fox Business Minute with Jerry Willis. Jerry, it sounds like robot ride sharing has arrived.
That's right, Kristin. It's pedal to the metal for Alphabet's Waymo as the company launches self-driving taxis that actually generate fares. Passengers in 4 Phoenix suburbs will get the opportunity to test out the service within a 100-mile zone. Riders can download the Waymo One app and use it just like any other ride-sharing app. If you're worried about safety, a human driver will be behind the wheel just in case. And you won't believe how much an autograph from Apple's late co-founder Steve Jobs is worth. Because Jobs rarely signed autographs, there are very few items with his signature left on them today, making the market value skyrocket to $51,000. That's 40 of the new iPhone 10. And if you love Krispy Kreme, they're offering a sweet deal next week. If you buy a dozen donuts, any combo and flavor during the day on Wednesday, you'll also get a free box of its original glazed donuts for just $1.
So why is Krispy Kreme doing this?
The chain is celebrating its Day of the Dozens, as it does every year.
Well, that's certainly good news for donut lovers. Thanks, Jerry. Time now for the New York Minute with Rosanna Scotto from Fox 5 New York. Rosanna, my friend, is it a bird? Is it a plane? No, it's a fleet of drones.
Well, could be Big Brother watching you when you come to New York the next time. So, Kristin, this is what's going on.
Okay.
The NYPD, the nation's largest police force, has announced they're going to be using a fleet of police-piloted drones. Now, officials say the drones will be used for search and rescue, to survey inaccessible crime scenes, to deal with hostage situations, but not, as some people worry, that they're going to use it for routine patrols. They also will not come equipped with weapons and bombs and tear gas. So the NY plans to operate 14 drones, and they're going to have people who've been specially trained to operate them. Now, many civil rights groups are worried. The New York Civil Liberties Union says drones pose a serious threat to New Yorkers' privacy. We talked to the chief of patrol. He says they're going to be used for big events. Now, one of the big events coming up that they said they're definitely going to be using it for, New Year's Eve in Times Square. So if you come Times Square, just know Big Brother's upstairs. And by the way, do not bring your private drone. It is illegal in New York.
Good to know. All right, well, let's keep it moving, Rosanna. I hear New York just earned some pretty prestigious bragging rights.
That's right. After looking at some 12 million verified user reviews of more than 28,000 restaurants, OpenTable has released their list of the best restaurants in America. 23 states on the list, but New York, we killed it. We serve as home to 24 of the top 100 restaurants. Sorry, Kristin, California ranked second with 15. Illinois had 9. Now, there are a lot of great restaurants in New York. In fact, I may have eaten my way through all of them, but I do have a bone to pick.
I have a feeling I know what it is, and that brings me to my next question. Was your restaurant on the list?
No, Fresco by Scotto was not on the list, but I will tell you, we've been in business for 25 years, so obviously we're doing something right.
Right, I would say. All right, Rosanna, always a good time with you. Now I'm a little hungry, but that's okay.
In a New York minute, come and visit us.
All right, see you soon. Now let's go to our friend Headcrack over at Dish Nation. He has the hottest celebrity news. So Headcrack, I hear Michelle Obama met someone pretty special during her book tour.
That's right, Kristin. Two of our favorite people have met for the first time. Michelle Obama and Meghan Markle met at Michelle's London stop of her book tour for Becoming. Now, it's reported that they spoke about supporting and empowering women across all cultures and communities. They also spoke about pregnancy and raising children. And I'm sure Michelle gave us some great advice, like it's okay to eat all the cake and ice cream. While Ariana Grande believes true love doesn't exist, Pete Davidson is hoping to find it online. Pete has reportedly joined an exclusive dating app to find a new relationship. Now, it seems that the two have not been on the best of terms since their breakup. Now, Pete recently blocked Ariana on Instagram, and Ariana covered up his tattoo with a tribute to Mac Miller. Well, with Pete's history, he should be in a relationship or engaged in about 2 weeks. And finally, what may or may not come as a surprise to many, Cardi B and Offset have split. Now, Cardi posted a video to her social media letting her fans know that they tried to work it out, but decided to end things. Now, Cardi's done this before, so some fans just really ain't buying it. And I guess only time will tell. Either way, divorce is never a fun thing, and I hope they can work it out. And if not, will it be a new diss track? So I'm here for it. Well, anyway, that's today's Dish. Until next time.
All right, thanks, Headcrack. For the latest celebrity news, watch Dish Nation weekdays. Check your local listings. And still ahead, we have tips for traveling with your kids during the holidays. And Gwyneth Paltrow shares something very surprising about her marriage. Don't go anywhere. Top 30, we'll be right back. Welcome back. The holiday season is here, and if you're one of the millions who will be traveling with little ones, Parents Magazine editor-in-chief Liz Vaccarello is here to share some tips for making that travel a little bit easier. Take it away, Liz.
Thanks, Kristin. Well, if you're traveling by plane with the kids, the most important tip is to count on delays and be prepared. Carry on more than enough diapers, wipes, and snacks, and always have an extra outfit for you and your kid because spills happen. Then take along a few extra toys your child has never seen before and do not whip them out until after you've taken off.
All right, what about parents who are driving this holiday season?
The important thing here is your kids' sleep cycle. Parents tell us that they get further faster when their kids are asleep. So for a drive less than 2 hours, leave at nap time. For longer drives, consider heading out just at bedtime. If you must drive when the kids are awake, plan on a pit stop every hour or two.
That's great. And how about some tips for when you finally make it to your destination?
Things go best if you make your destination familiar. So set up your children's sleep space to be a little haven. Bring a favorite blanket or any night lights or sound machines that are used at home. And stick to your routine, even when visiting those relatives.
Such great advice. Liz, thank you. Well, the U.S. Army wants you, but only if you can get in shape. Officials have announced changes to the Army Combat Fitness Test that will make it tougher to pass. The Army detailed the changes and practice tips on a new website in an effort to get recruits ready before they arrive for basic training. The military wants to reduce injuries and improve unit readiness. Each of the new exercises is supposed to build skills needed on the battlefield, especially moving people or heavy gear. The test includes at least 3 deadlifts of 340 pounds, a standing power throw, hand release push-ups, a sprint drag carry event, leg tucks, and a 2-mile run. The changes come following a report by The Citadel that found 27% of potential recruits ages 17 to 24 are too overweight to qualify for military service. The new test takes effect no later than October 2020. The Army's Chief of Staff says if you can't get in shape in 24 months, then maybe you should hit the road. All right, Chris Watts, the Colorado man now serving 5 life sentences for murdering his pregnant wife and 2 young daughters, has become one of the most infamous faces in America. With more on the Watts case, we're joined by Law and Crime Network host Jesse Weber. So, Jesse, I hear newly released body cam footage is showing us yet another very disturbing side to this convicted killer.
Right, so this footage depicts right before he's formally charged, and you see Chris Watts reacting to surveillance footage from his neighbor's home, his neighbor's security cam footage of him loading the back of his truck right in the day that we believe he disposed of the bodies. And this is a very, very eerie video. Chris Watts reacting to this is really the thing that you want to watch. You can see him, his hands are on his head, he's moving up and down, he's not sure what to say. He starts making excuses for what he's doing in the video. At one point he said, oh yeah, my truck was vandalized a few days before these girls disappeared. And then you hear his neighbor at one point in the video says, I live by this guy. I've never seen him do this before. I've never seen him load from the garage before. And he's a very quiet guy. And all of a sudden he starts giving 3 different versions of what's happening. So watching Chris Watts react to being caught is the thing that we're all watching for.
Eerie was the perfect word for that, Jesse. It feels like since this case broke in August, there's a new twist every day. I hear Watts has now been transferred from his Colorado prison. Is that right?
That's right, Kristin. Yes, he has been transferred to a prison out of state. We know that the victim's family members and the district attorney's office have been made aware of where he will be, but he was moved for his own safety. Remember, he is a very high-profile inmate and very well known in Colorado. The prosecution agreed to transfer him to another prison. And you see this happen a lot when you have such a high-profile person who pled guilty to such a horrific crime involving 2 young girls. You can see why his safety was a big concern.
Okay, Jesse, thank you so much.
Thank you.
For more on Watts and other cases 24/7, head to lawandcrime.com. Let's talk about bathroom mirrors now. They're rarely up to par, which is why we have today's Top 30 steal, a Vivitar Simply Beautiful 21 LED light-up trifold mirror at a special 64% discount. This mirror has 1x, 2x, and 3x magnification, plus 180-degree rotation. The 21 LED lights can be powered by a USB cord or batteries. This is so great for doing your makeup and for cleaning up those eyebrows. There's even a little storage tray for accessories or cosmetics. It's available in your choice of white or rose gold. The Vivitar Simply Beautiful 21 LED light-up trifold mirror retails for as much as $80. But today you can buy it for just $29. That's a 64% discount. You can get this right now at morningsave.com while they last. Don't go anywhere. We have more Top 30 coming right up. Welcome back. Time now for Gary's Life Fix, brought to you by Sandals Resorts. Eat less, exercise more, find a new hobby. It's estimated some 40% of Americans make New Year's resolutions every year. With more, we're joined by business and life strategist Gary Cox. Gary, always good to see you. Studies suggest 80% of resolutions fail by mid-February. So Gary, what are we doing wrong?
Well, here's one of the things that we're doing wrong, Kristin. We wait till January or New Year's to set the goal. So if we're waiting for January New Year's to set the goal, it's a good indicator that you're probably not going to be successful at it. So that's why I tell people, make sure you plan this well in advance. If you plan it well in advance and you're not waiting for everybody else to do it, it's a better sign that you're probably going to have a little bit more success.
Okay, so then what can we do to get started now?
We got to remember, we got to really raise our standards and understand what it really means to be committed. You don't want to be just involved, you got to be committed. Now, let me share with you the difference between just being committed and being involved. It's kind of like bacon and eggs. The chicken laid the egg, the chicken was involved. The pig The pig was committed. That's how we got the bacon. So that's how much commitment you need to have when it comes to setting your goals. If you're just doing it because everybody else is doing it, and you're doing it only because you feel excited because everybody else is excited around the New Year's, that's also a sign it's probably not going to happen for you. So you've got to learn to take action toward your goals, even if you don't feel like it. That's where the success comes in. See, obviously during New Year's, everybody's talking about it. So now everybody feels that excitement. And because of that feeling, what do? You're rewarded by saying, well, I'm going to do this, or I'm going to lose weight. Well, what happens when you don't feel it anymore? We've got to learn to take action when we don't feel like it.
Makes total sense. Very helpful information. Thanks, Gary. Well, forget the Forbes 30 under 30. How about under 10? Forbes released their list of highest paid YouTubers, and a 7-year-old has the top spot. Those of you with kids may know Ryan from Ryan Toys Review. Ryan is well known in my house. Forbes reported that Ryan raked in $22 million from June last year to June this year with his 17 million followers. He makes the cash by basically playing with toys, but he does have a few preferences. His description on this YouTube channel says he loves cars, trains, Thomas and Friends, Lego, Disney toys, and more. His family launched his primary channel in March of 2015, but his latest move is a line of collectibles selling at Walmart and Target. So heads up, parents, that may be on the Christmas list. Now let's go to Brody Brown in New York City with our Us Weekly headlines. So Brody, I hear you have a revelation about Gwyneth Paltrow and her new husband.
Hi, Kristin. That's right. Gwyneth Paltrow and Brad Falchuk got married in September, but in a new interview with the Wall Street Journal, the actress reveals that she and her husband are not yet living together. Gwyneth said, "We are still doing it our way. With teenage kids, you've got to tread lightly." Gwyneth explained, "I've never been a stepmother before. I don't know how to do it." And we spoke exclusively to James Van Der Beek recently. And though it may be more than 15 years since James starred alongside Michelle Williams on Dawson's Creek, his admiration for the actress is fresher than ever. He thinks she kind of was slipping under the radar when they were filming Dawson's Creek. "I think people really underestimated her outside of the cast," he told us, adding, "It's been kind of fun to watch her get her revenge a little bit."
Very nice. And also you have an exclusive on Jon Gosselin for us. Haven't heard that name in a while.
Yeah, he's been keeping a pretty low profile, but Jon Gosselin recently won sole custody of his son Colin after his ex-wife Kate and her lawyer did not show up to court. Jon revealed in 2016 that it had been 3 years since he saw all 8 of his kids at one time, which is the same year that Kate revealed that one of the sextuplets, Colin, was seeking inpatient treatment for behavioral issues. Jon lives with one of the sextuplets, Hannah. And now that Jon has won sole physical and legal custody of Colin, Colin will be joining Jon and Hannah when he leaves the treatment facility later this month.
All right, thanks for the scoop, Brody, and we'll see you next week. For more celebrity news, make sure you check out usmagazine.com. You know, the best part of having a sibling, or better yet, a twin, is you always have someone to play with. But particularly in this next case, you always have someone to play basketball with. At Splendora High School in Montgomery County, Texas, that's the case 6 times over. An article in People says the school's basketball team has 6 sets of twins in its 65-person basketball program. The twins are seniors Jordan and Adam Carter, juniors Aaron and Ryan Kendall, sophomores Ian and Lucas Ferrari Johnson, and the identical twins, juniors Shelby and Shayla Keck, freshmen Zoe and Macy Serber, and freshmen Janet and Jacqueline Reyes. Deetra Inkster, the school's communications director, tells People that it was actually a parent that noticed the crazy amount of twins in the program. The coaches didn't even notice because they have twins of their own. But junior Shayla Keck says the best part about this is that you always have someone to play one-on-one with. All right, Top 30, we'll be right back. Welcome back to Top 30. This week's Global Citizen Festival in Johannesburg brought together many political officials, artists, influencers, and others to honor the late South African president, Nelson Mandela. 2 famous faces that hit the stage to perform were Beyonce and Ed Sheeran, who performed a duet together. But the big buzz on Twitter wasn't about their performance. The talk was about their stark contrast in clothing during their performance. Beyonce hit the stage with a bold pink ruffled gown, while Sheeran sported jeans and a tee. And it didn't take long for Twitter to explode in a gender debate. Users claim the difference showed a gender-based double standard in the music industry, according to an article in Yahoo. But others said the outfits were just expressive of the stars' difference in personality and image and had nothing to do with gender at all. As for the stars, neither seemed bothered at all. It looks like Beyonce was more concerned with Sheeran hitting the right notes, which, by the way, was a whole different discussion on Twitter. Well, that's it for today's show. Thanks for watching. Here's what's coming up on the next Top 30. Buying a new car is one of life's biggest purchases. We'll have tips to avoid expensive mistakes. Plus, flyers are getting some good news for once. And you won't believe how many employees embarrass themselves at office Christmas parties. Or maybe you will. You can also listen to today's biggest stories on a Top 30 podcast. It's all coming up on the next Top 30.